There are many top golfers around the world, but Jon Rahm is on a whole different level, and it's not only because of his physical skill. The all-around package of this star golfer is something that makes even other golfers dread being on the green with him. But what are the secrets that make Jon Rahm the player he is? Stay with us to find out. Time, practice, and everything else put into becoming a pro golfer has put Jon Rahm on the big stage. But it takes way more than that to gain respect and fear from your peers. The competitive driving force. From being just a regular kid playing street football in Spain to becoming the world's highest-ranked golfer, one thing that's for sure is that Jon Rahm has come a long way. And on such a long path, he's bound to have come across many stories and experiences that shape who he is today. For Jon Rahm, the biggest lesson he seemed to have learned from all of those experiences is a hunger to be the best, unlike anything you've ever seen. Of course, professional athletes all want to be the best in their field, but Jon Rahm has had this competitiveness even before he was a professional. Growing up in Barrica, Spain, during neighborhood football games, Rahm played as a goalkeeper but frequently stormed off the football pitch. Why? Simply because he hated conceding goals, and anytime he did, he'd see it as his teammates not matching his energy, and the best way to handle that was to storm off the pitch. Sure, he might not storm off the golf course now, but so high is his drive to be the best since day one, and over the years, it has only become stronger. Because there have been days where Rahm wasn't able to hold in that competitive rage. He would flare up and even blurt out profanities when he hits a bad shot on the course. In more recent years, the Spaniard has cautiously managed that behavior, as he should, but we cannot ignore that such a high level of competitive spirit is common with the very best the game has ever seen. The likes of Tiger Woods, John Daly, Rory McIlroy, and even Phil Mickelson have all had instances where they flared up during a match just because of their own bad performances. If this is the elite company Jon Rahm's passionate outbursts put him in, then we've got to say it's a pretty good company to be in. Probably the most evident display of Jon Rahm's extremely competitive spirit came early in 2023. The need to prove a point. Amidst all the on- and off-the-course controversy and drama of the LIV Golf, a number of PGA Tour stars were putting up a series of impressive performances and the media was going haywire. Rory McIlroy, being the face of the PGA Tour against the LIV, was already in the spotlight. The Northern Irishman started off the year birdieing the final two holes to win the Hero Dubai Desert Classic on the European Tour. His performances since then have dwindled, but McIlroy is pretty much golf's golden child, so all the press still made a lot of noise about him. The same can be said for Justin Thomas, who had bagged his second major tournament win and second PGA championship just some months prior, so going into the new season, there was a lot of talk about him. Another player in the spotlight around the same time was Scottie Scheffler, who was coming off a season so good he was named the PGA Tour Player of the Year. And he wasn't done. In 2023, Scheffler bagged both the Waste Management Phoenix Open and the Players' Championship early in the year and even got the #1 spot on the OWGR. With all these names being mentioned in the press, guess who was left out? That's right, Jon Rahm. And the crazy part was he was actually doing better than all these dudes. Coming off a stellar 2022, in which he landed multiple victories on both the European and PGA Tours, Rahm unlocked a whole new level in 2023. He started off by shooting a final round 63 to win the Century Tournament of Champions.
A little left for birdie to take an eagle out of... And that should put it out of reach, and he knows...
And within the next 6 weeks, he had added wins at the American Express and the Genesis Invitational. His impressive form got him back into the world's #1 spot, but still, he wasn't getting the spotlight he deserved from the media. Understandably, because Rory and JT have long been media favorites as the young, promising stars of their generation, Scheffler was also still getting the shine as the game's new star boy. But Jon Rahm wasn't going to let his spotlight be shared. Dude is way too competitive for that. But instead of making noise about it in the media, Rahm responded with an epic performance at the 2023 Masters to earn him the green jacket, and finally, the attention and praise he deserved. Of course, he never outrightly demanded the attention, He had even publicly appreciated the competition amongst the trio of himself, Scheffler, and McIlroy in a very sportsmanlike manner. And maybe he meant it. But Jon Rahm's competitiveness has just got a way of proving his worth when everyone else seems to be forgetting. How impressed are you by Jon Rahm's unflawed attributes? Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more intriguing stories from the world of golf. Jon Rahm has successfully translated his passion and intensity for winning into his gameplay, and it is one of the reasons why he is so formidable. Strength and intensity, the secret to Rahm's gameplay. Playing against a golfer with the level of competitiveness and raw passion that Rahm has is enough to rattle most golfers. But for those who are able to hold their own in a psychological battle, it's almost impossible to do the same when facing off against the 2021 PGA Tour leading money winner. You probably didn't know this, but Jon Rahm was born with a congenital condition called clubfoot that made his foot turn inward and downward. As a result of this condition, Jon Rahm doesn't have the most mobile and stable right ankle. The corrective surgery done for the clubfoot also left Rahm with a limited right hip internal rotation, and ordinarily that would really impact any pro golfer's backswing, but not Jon Rahm. Rather than let it limit him, Jon Rahm has worked with numerous golf, fitness, and health professionals, his trainer Spencer Tatum, swing coach David Phillips, and health professional Greg Rose to create the most efficient playing style possible for his body. Let's just say Rahm and his team came up with one answer, and that's to play with insane strength and power. He has built up other parts of his body to cultivate a now patented short backswing that helps him generate significant power with his bowed wrist and strength throughout his upper and lower body. Rahm's strength was one of the factors, perhaps the most important, that gave him his epic win in the final round of the 2023 Masters in April. Playing with his strong swing, he put up a performance that had veteran golf icons like major winning coach Butch Harmon and three-time Masters champion Sir Nick Faldo in awe. Brooks Koepka really didn't know what hit him as Rahm took the outright lead after 6 holes in the final round and never relinquished control. His performance had Harmon calling him the best player in the world for the last few years. And Nick Faldo, talking about his gameplay, said, "Physically, he is a strong guy and technically he has his own unique golf swing. The strength you need to keep your composure throughout the whole week and keep your determination." Such comments coming from successful golfers like Faldo and Harmon definitely means Rahm is doing something right. Any golfer who has to face off against him has to worry about how the Spaniard bows with his lead wrist and uses his strong upper body to pull the club down really forcefully with brute strength. Even his backswing is any opponent's nightmare. It's short, crazily fast, creating a rapid counter movement.
Is barely above his midriff, but still he can create a lot of power from.
Dangerous. Many golfers have come and gone, with just a short period being the only highlight of their careers, but not Jon Rahm. An attribute that not only makes opponents fear him, but also puts him in a tier only a few get to attain. Jon Rahm, ever consistent. Todd Hamilton, Shawn Michael, Steve Jones. The list of golf's one-year wonders goes on and on. If that shows anything, it's that the hardest part of being a pro golfer isn't getting that first win, but staying up there after the first win. However, that area is something Jon Rahm seems to have mastered. The record books prove it. From his earliest golfing days as a teenager to his stellar amateur career, Jon Rahm has a seemingly impossible trait of continual improvement. Before going pro, Rahm had an excellent collegiate career at Arizona State that saw him record 11 collegiate golf tournament wins, only second behind Phil Mickelson's 16. After college, he went on to win numerous amateur tournaments, reaching the #1 spot on the World Amateur Golf Ranking in 2015 and retaining the spot for 60 weeks. All that just goes on to show how consistent Rahm is. Golfers have had their bad days and their good days, but not this dude. And this makes him a serious threat to whoever he has to play against, because you can always be sure he's going to be at the top of his game. Beyond an impressive amateur career, Rahm has amassed 20 professional tournament wins in less than a decade of going pro. Yet he hasn't taken his foot off the gas. In fact, a tweet from the official PGA Tour showing Rahm's scores in over 20 consecutive events in the 2023 PGA Tour season shows how insane his consistency is. Look at those numbers, man. It's almost like he's a machine programmed to perform at top level every time he gets on the course. Putting all this into consideration, it's absolutely no surprise that other golfers would be scared to play against Jon Rahm. Gradually but assuredly, the Spaniard is carving his name amongst golf royalties, and if you ask us, there's absolutely no one that can stop him. What do you think? If you enjoyed this video about Jon Rahm, check out the video on the screen now, or the one we posted below, because we're sure you'll like that one too. Let us know in the comments if there's another golfer whose journey you'd like us to cover. See you there!